This video will be about channeling the consciousness. And before we get into it, I would love to describe what do I mean by this. Is that we did channeling, and accidentally the questions were about consciousness. What is the consciousness? Who is the I? Who is the self? What is the existence itself? And so on. And then came the how I would understand it to be. Actually, I cannot explain it in simple words, but you would say a being, no form being, just a energy being, energy of light. You would say energy being of light, no form, no vision, no form or how he actually looks, just from a huge light, from light, and no names, no nothing. He just came and said hello. Peaceful, really, really peaceful, really, really loving, calm, and he many times said that he said how interesting is to remember that has once been a long time ago. And then we started to channel and ask questions about consciousness, and I will in this video just share the information he gave, and I think I will translate the video in English with subtitles, and I will give the information what I got afterwards the channeling. And the first couple of questions was about the place of absolute beingness. You would say the place of light, the place of light from life evolves, the place from all love and light evolves. In some religions you would say heaven, in some places you would say higher self, and I would say just place of pure light, the prime source, the source. Yeah, okay, you can say source, this is a more relevant word. And he came from there, and the first question was, where is Enrico? And he said Enrico is just his imagination. Enrico is his imagination. What I understood by meaning this is that he comes from the source as a being, but he is not the top being, he's not the higher self, he is so close to the source, you would say. And he comes down as Enrico, then as a little bit lower being as Enrico, which I many times channel, and then as me, how I understood. And he lives in no form, no place, nothing at all, just the source. And the information then was that how does the universe work, about the universe, some couple of questions. And he said that everything is just a memory, everything is just remembering what the consciousness itself is actually dreaming. And I understood that God's beings like Brahma, whatever, they make the consciousness. They are the consciousness, they are the gods, you would say. And that gods, you would say gods that are somewhere in the source, and that they as you are with the source, you are with the consciousness. And if you are with the consciousness, therefore your thoughts is like the God's thoughts. And those thoughts manifest, those thoughts happen, those thoughts are. This is everything. So, for example, the aphorism was, nothing is not visible to consciousness. You cannot imagine nothing, you cannot imagine anything that hasn't the consciousness already imagined of. You cannot feel anything that consciousness hasn't already felt. The idea is then that you are just a memory of the consciousness. You are just from the consciousness. Consciousness is the source of you. And what I understood is that layers, the source, and then there are higher reality fields, such as places of light, places of where beings exist, light. Then there is the all universe as such as our universe. And then there is Earth, planets, and so on and so on. And we as Earth planets are in the physical field. We are really far from the consciousness. And when the light, the source, imagines of what then the source beings who live in the source, this is just light that lives within light, they cannot touch each other, they cannot smell each other, they cannot do something to each another. Only way to do this is to imagine an experience as separation, and they go down in layers, and create more separation and more separation. And what was stood, the separation is being held and being created by mind. And to have this experience, therefore the universe is created to have an experience of separation. Separation in space and time, separation in distance, separation as the idea that you are something out of me. You are something that is not me, so that I can touch you, I can feel you, and I can smell you, I can feel you, I can explore you, I can have you, and so on and so on. And how the mind creates separation is that the mind creates programs. Mind creates, it's something like the movie Matrix. The mind creates ideas. The mind creates a program, matrices, and something like this. In more simple words, this will be something that you plan to do something right now, something that you plan to do something tomorrow. Right now I will steer the steering wheel to the right a little bit, then I will shift to the fourth gear, or it was already fifth gear, and so on. So the step-by-step process of thinking. Imagine now, I'm driving this road, all cars are driving somewhere, they're all following some kind of a mind main matrix program. They are doing something, and when the program stops, they create another program, and if they cannot create another program, then they reproduce, then somebody gives them a new program. And what I understood about the mind is that mind cannot understand the consciousness. The mind cannot imagine how the consciousness works. Therefore you have to find your own consciousness, find yourself, your own consciousness. Find consciousness your own. You look for the consciousness your own. It's like you look for the consciousness yourself. That would be more simple words. Because the mind loves to create programs, and consciousness doesn't work within programs. It works within exciting and interesting and exploring and expanding. So for example, if the mind creates the program as I will work there, I will have a career there, and I will do this and I do that, and something of it fails, the mind starts stressing, worrying, suffering, crying. And how can the program fail? I imagined so many things. I wanted to feel love. I was so that this partner of mine is real, this relationship is real, it will happen, and so on. But the consciousness, the God, the consciousness, the higher self, imagined a new dream, and everything changed. And the mind is still left and doesn't understand how could this happen, because the mind created this program, and when the logically based program fails, and I understood these projects is not only within the mind of thinking, it's also within every cell of you, how the heart works, how the blood works. And if in your, for example, heart chakra, you create so many programs, those programs exist there in heart center, your heart wants to feel love, and then he creates program, how can I feel love, how can I feel love, I should do in this, I should be together with somebody and something. There are already programs within, and when this programming language fails, when this idea fails, the mind starts suffering, and therefore the program centers in your heart, they start suffering. It's like a netting of patterns that are breaking apart, and then the body starts crying because the program language itself is breaking apart. This was really interesting, and the idea also was that the mind creates this separation of creating these programs, ideas, and so on, and but if you are living within such programs, if you are basically ordinary people, ordinary day-to-day people, they are held their lives in a unbelievable program of road, where the programming language, the collective programming language, is being updated, created, and uploaded, updated, created, and you live within this programming language, and slowly, in billions, zillions of years, the collective consciousness will either way upgrade itself, evolve itself to like evolution of light, you would say. And but if you understand the consciousness yourself, if you are letting go of all the programs, letting go of all the belief systems, letting go of everything, you start to become aware of more of the consciousness. And for example, also these fortune tellers and these psyches and everything, if they tell the future for you, it's like telling an idea, that happens within the program, the programming, the mind, the future of the programming. But if the consciousness understands this idea, for example, when suddenly you understand this idea, when suddenly you feel and hear the message that the fortune teller is telling you, and you somehow understand it, and there's a really high chance that the consciousness will, okay, I have lived this experience already in my experience, and everything changes. It's like the consciousness constantly changes, and if you are sleeping, the consciousness is guiding you, and if you are waking up, you have more and more and more understanding of what will happen, and you feel how the consciousness changes, and changes. And there were really a lot. And what I understood is that gods have been born here on Earth to evolve the planet Earth, evolve the consciousness to a higher degree. Also, what I understood is that what I felt is that I have lived for a long time, a too long time. I felt that really strongly. The second thing is I felt in the channeling process how the consciousness breathes. He breathes in and breathes out, and slowly and gently and peacefully breathes in and breathe out, and everything breathes in, everything. And I felt and I still feel the consciousness itself is everywhere, even inside of me. And he breathes in and breathes out slowly, breathe in and breathe out slowly. And this was really amazing feeling. It was like everything what I said to my father. He said, well, yeah, this is like the supreme yogi Vasishta. There's some kind of a book of this about the consciousness. He's telling the same thing, and there's nothing that has not already been thought of. And I would love to tell another expanded story about the idea that if consciousness imagines a new way, everything changes. Everything changes completely. Everything completely changes. But if you are living inside the programming language, the mind, you'd say nothing changes for you. And if you become more aware of the consciousness, more connected to the source, consciousness, every your wish, every your idea is already also consciousness idea, the source idea, because you are the source. And if you are more connected, you are becoming more aware of. And every your idea is already the consciousness idea, and it also changes everything. And therefore these manifestations, this understanding about manifestations start right here, that you can completely change everything, rearrange all universe as you wish, rebuild all universe as you wish. And this is something I asked about scientists also, like they are all constantly discovering something new, constantly creating something new, like new ideas about UFOs, space travel, time travel, and everything. It's like when I asked this entity when I was driving, and he said, "Yo, yeah, they're just recreating the consciousness, rediscovering the consciousness. There's nothing that you can discover and create. It's like you rearrange the consciousness as you wish. There is nothing that you seek for and nothing that you will find. It's like always and always changing, always and always evolving, because if you wish to discover something, you will discover something, because this is the consciousness's wish to discover something, and it will create and imagine something for you to find. And to become more aware of that, or become more highly spiritual of this, you just become aware of, feel how the consciousness breathes. Breathe in, breathe out, and feel everywhere consciousness around you. and you'll become more and more closer to the source. I had many more aphorisms about these ideas, but well, basically this will be the main information. When there was a woman asking about, so the idea, everything is a memory of what has already been. The idea that the source has already long time ago imagined this situation, and because the earth level is so low, I mean like 4 levels down or more levels down, it takes longer time, and the path or connection to the source is much longer. But when you are connected to the source, everything manifests and changes instantly, So that's why you can say a long time ago everything has already been thought of, but it's like many steps back the idea has already been thought of, and this is just a reflection of the dream the consciousness is living. And many times when I was many times ago, before this channeling, I have felt this many times, because there is no linkage between fortune tellers, there is no linkage between searching, exploring something, there is no linkage. Only linkage I know is that whatever you imagine, whatever you feel from your heart and being connected to the universe, everything changes, that's what I felt. And this is like you are unique in your own being, and you are always connected with the source of who you are, and you can always change everything as you wish and as you are. But there are these matrices, there are these systems, there are these mind-made programs that still are work and guide us automatically. And what else was there? Oh yeah, when I stopped channeling, I was like, whoa, who are you? And then I felt, then I just started. Well, the being said many times that it is hard for us to be here, because I felt he's like something like an air bubble deep below water, and when air bubble gets released, he just jumps out high, just jumps out and straight up to the air. And he said, it is hard for us to be here, Oh, I still feel him as I want to cry. And many people in the audience started to cry. One woman started to cry so hardly she couldn't let her control. And I started to cry also after. And when he went away, I was like, who are you? And I felt this golden yellow energy was going outside of me. And then was like, I cannot describe. He gave just a piece of that energy, a little tiny piece of his energy, like sent back with a smile. And just, I was completely knocked out. I just started to cry. And then I went to the toilet. I was like shaking. I never cried that so strong before. Maybe I have, but it was so exhausting. And then in the bathroom, I was just like crying, just washing my ears, eyes were red. And it was like such calmness, such peace, such love, such confidence, and complete calmness. And after that channeling, I didn't wanted anybody to see me. I didn't wanted anybody to like have a communication with it. It was like, it was complete knockout. And there was, for example, we channeled for like 40 people, but when we channeled this being, like 5 of them just instantly fell asleep. Some 10 of them just went away because they said we didn't understand anything, and I felt really sleepy and went away. And it was really strange, because the people who weren't supposed to hear this just went away or felt asleep for the entire channeling. And it was really. And also another thing is that when we started the channeling, I said that those persons who want to ask questions come really closely. And when they came really closely, in the channeling process, I felt so much of those people's energy, what have the people. And it really helped to like take off the noise of the background, and feel much more the questioner who is asking, feel much more to like help and give the information. And also, just one quick sentence before I stop. There was the woman who is asking that she feels really high love and she wants to share this love with everybody. But she many times start to cry, and that the being said that there is just a being who is looking for you with high love, and every time you feel him, you start to cry, and the love you feel for the other people, uh, the being feels for you more and much more stronger, much more stronger, and this was really wow. I just started to cry, you just feel and want to cry. And loving, calm, peaceful, not like Enrico, excited, joyful, happy, but this channeling left a huge marker with me, huge marker. So okay, thank you for listening, hope this video helped, and enjoy your time.